Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Seth's Sleep Sanctuary. My name is Seth, and I'm here to help you rest, to guide you into a place where time unravels, where thoughts dissolve into softness, and where sleep comes not with effort, but with ease. Tonight, I'll be telling you a story, a very special one. It's not loud, it's not fast. It doesn't need to go anywhere. It's simply a story made for sleep. A story whispered gently beneath the stars. A story of ancient stone, sacred silence, and golden warmth. A story about a temple hidden in time, one that belonged to Cleopatra. But this isn't a tale of royalty or rule. This is a tale of stillness, of soft chambers filled with sleep, of breath that slows, and of a place where even dreams curl up and nap beneath lanterns made of moonlight. If you're here with busy thoughts, that's okay. They'll quiet soon. If you're here with tired eyes, that's perfect. Let them close whenever they're ready. This is your time now. So, find your blanket, adjust your pillow, take the deepest, gentlest breath of the day, and follow me. We are about to enter the Ancient Temple of Cleopatra, and once we arrive, you may never want to leave. Let's begin. There is a place, hidden far beyond the reach of roads, where the desert sleeps and dreams of ancient things. Nestled between two golden dunes that rise like slumbering camels, lies a forgotten path, a silken trail that glows faintly beneath moonlight, as though it remembers the footsteps of queens. The stars above blink softly, watching with the gentle curiosity of old friends. The wind hums quietly, like a lullaby made of sand and memory. And at the end of this secret path, partly swallowed by the desert's embrace, stands the Ancient Temple of Cleopatra. It is not grand in the way palaces are grand. No, this temple is different. It is small enough to feel safe, with warm sandstone walls that seem to breathe out calm. At its entrance, two carved lotus blossoms lean gently against each other. They are weathered but not broken, just like the spirit of the queen who once walked among them. Inside, everything whispers rest. The first chamber is dim, lit only by the golden flicker of oil lamps suspended from curling bronze branches. Their glow dances on the walls, casting quiet shadows that sway like reeds in a gentle tide. Here, the scent of frankincense lingers, soft and smoky, like a dream wrapped in silk. A small fountain trickles near the far wall, its bowl shaped like an open palm. The water falls in the slowest, sleepiest rhythm, like time itself has chosen to rest a while. Nearby, woven mats made from desert reeds rest on the floor, scattered with round pillows stuffed with crushed lavender and date husks. Cleopatra's temple was never meant for worship. It was a place of retreat, a sanctuary where even a queen could lay down her crown and simply be. And now, many centuries later, its silence still holds space for anyone who seeks stillness. The second chamber is the heart of the temple. A curved ceiling arches above like the inside of a seashell, painted with stars in deep blue and glimmering gold. Even in the quiet of night, those stars seem to twinkle with some forgotten song. A mosaic of Cleopatra herself lies in the center, her eyes half closed, as though she too is just drifting off. Along the walls are niches, each one home to a relic wrapped in linen or velvet, a silver comb with missing teeth, a vial once filled with rose oil, a worn scroll bearing poems in a language only the stars remember. These are not treasures in the usual sense, but memories, Each one holds a sigh, a smile, a story. Tonight, you walk gently through the temple. Your footsteps make no sound, cushioned by the old stone that seems to welcome you like an old friend. You feel a quiet warmth in the air, as though the walls themselves are holding their breath just to make space for your rest. You reach the third room, and here, everything feels slower. Time begins to soften. The walls are curved like an embrace, and the ceiling is domed with polished alabaster that catches the soft shimmer of your oil lamp. In the center lies a bed, not a grand royal bed, but a simple one, carved from cedar and padded with thick woolen blankets dyed the soft color of desert rose. The sheets are cool and smooth, smelling faintly of chamomile and fig. There's a pillow made from fine linen, filled with soft barley husk and stitched with tiny silver stars. Above the bed, a canopy of gauzy linen drapes from the ceiling, gently swaying with each breath of air. It moves like a lullaby, reminding you of the sea, of hammocks, of stories whispered at bedtime long ago. You sit on the edge of the bed, and for a moment, you listen. Outside, the desert wind has quieted. The dunes no longer shift, they rest. Far in the distance, a jackal sings a slow, low note to the moon, but it is not a cry. It is a song of solitude, of surrender, of sleep. You lie down. Your head melts into the pillow, your body relaxing inch by inch. The soft linen canopy whispers above you. Somewhere nearby, the little fountain keeps its rhythm. One drop, then another, then another. Time has folded itself into the slow lull of night. Cleopatra once slept here. Not every night, of course, but on the nights when the world outside grew too loud, when the pressures of power whispered too harshly at her ear, she would retreat here. She would remove her golden collar and unbind her hair. She would soak her feet in the little fountain and sip from a clay cup of date milk steeped with herbs. She would rest, not as a queen, but as a woman, as a soul who needed peace. And so the temple learned how to hold peace. It became good at it, very good. Now, even the softest breath echoes with calm here. Even the stones underfoot seem to cradle your feet, asking nothing in return. Tonight, the temple is yours. You are its honored guest. The stars above align gently over the domed ceiling. Outside, the moon hangs low, painting silver ribbons on the desert sand. Inside, the air is warmer than you expected, wrapped in memory and intention. Somewhere in the back chamber, where Cleopatra used to keep her scrolls, lies a papyrus filled with gentle stories. Folk tales she collected from travelers, from wise women in villages, from shepherds who wandered in with songs. She loved tales that made people feel safe, and often read them aloud to herself, alone, while lying under the canopy. One such tale begins like this. Long ago, in a land where the Nile whispered to the stars, there was a cat who could speak. But the story drifts now, like incense curling in the air, unfinished and waiting. You'll read it another night. For now, you are safe in the temple. The linen canopy sways. The fountain trickles. Your heartbeat slows to match the rhythm of this ancient place. You breathe in and out, in and out. Your thoughts grow soft and sleepy. No sharp edges remain. No questions press against your temples. Even your name feels like a gentle murmur, lost among the folds of dreams. Outside, the sands begin to glow slightly, not from sun, but from memory. Ancient travelers once passed this temple and lit small fires near the entrance, leaving tokens. Pebbles from riverbeds, bundles of dried herbs, beads made from bone and shell. Each gift, a whisper of gratitude to a place that held their dreams so carefully. Even now, if you listen closely, you might hear those old songs, the lullabies of the desert, the hush of the wind speaking in Egyptian. You are not alone. The temple watches over you. You are not burdened. The stone walls carry your weight. You are not lost. The stars above always know your name. Here, you are everything you need to be. Here, you can fall. And fall you do. Gently, like a feather released from Cleopatra's hand, tumbling softly into the embrace of sleep. You may dream of sandstone halls and violet-scented scrolls, of a golden asp that curls into a circle and sings stories from its tail, of warm dates wrapped in fig leaves, of the quiet presence of a queen who once knew how to rest and taught her temple to keep teaching it forever. The temple is eternal, and it never runs out of rest to give. Even if you return tomorrow, or the day after that, or 100 nights from now, it will still be here, still quiet, still warm, still waiting to cradle you in its silence. And as your breath deepens, your eyes fluttering shut, know this. The ancient Temple of Cleopatra is not just in the desert. It now lives within you. You carry its calm. You carry its peace. You carry its endless capacity for sleep. Sleep now. Sleep. Sleep. The stars had shifted slightly in the night sky, like ancient caretakers adjusting their gaze. And though the sands outside the temple continued to rest in soft stillness, something deeper now stirred within its chambers. Not a sound, not a movement, just a deepening of presence. As though the temple, sensing your breath slowing into sleep, opened one more hidden door. You awaken gently, but only just. More of a drifting awareness than a full return. Your body remains heavy with rest, your mind warm and cotton soft. But something calls to you. Not with urgency. No, this calling is slower than a breeze. It is the kind of calling that only dreams can hear. A door you hadn't seen before now stands just slightly open. It is carved from dark wood, older than the rest of the temple, with symbols etched faintly into its frame. You cannot read them, but you feel them. They hum softly, like a lullaby sung by the stones. You rise, still wrapped in linen and warmth, and step toward it. The corridor beyond is long, rounded like a tunnel carved by wind and time. Along its walls are tiny alcoves, and in each one glows a single flame. They do not flicker. They do not burn bright. They are quiet, unwavering. A soft gold that does not disturb the dark, but warms it. This is the Corridor of Echoes. It was said Cleopatra walked this passage only on nights when her dreams became too loud, when the burdens of the crown refused to let her sleep. Here, the echoes of old comforted her. Not the voices of ghosts, but the memory of kindness. Each step you take awakens a faint sound, a child's laugh from centuries past, a prayer whispered by a handmaid, the sound of water being poured into a clay basin, the hush of fingers braiding hair, a song without words, hummed by someone long gone but never truly forgotten. None of these sounds are intrusive. They come like memories you never knew you had. And as you walk, your shoulders loosen. Your breath sinks deeper. You feel your chest rise and fall with a rhythm that belongs more to the earth than to effort. Halfway through the corridor, you find a bench carved from smooth stone and covered in layers of soft woven cloth. You sit, and the silence settles around you. Not heavy, but like a warm shawl laid across your shoulders. Across from you, on the wall, is a mural painted in ochre and night blue. It shows the temple as it once was, a gathering place not for worship, but for peace. Women laugh as they grind herbs. Elders recline on mats and tell stories. Children chase the shadows of palm trees. And there, in the center, sits Cleopatra, not on a throne, but on the ground, legs tucked beneath her, pouring tea for a visitor. She smiles, but not like a queen, like a friend. You close your eyes. The warmth of the corridor holds you, and you listen, not with your ears now, but with your heart. You hear a voice, smooth and low, like a river under moonlight. Rest is not weakness. To be still is not to fall behind. Sometimes the truest strength is knowing when to be soft. You let the words sink into you, like sand warmed by sun. Eventually, you rise and walk deeper into the corridor. The sounds behind you fade, and new ones greet you. Someone snoring softly, a cat purring in a sunbeam, the faint ring of gold bracelets being set gently on a shelf. All the little lullabies of life. The corridor begins to widen, and you come to a round chamber, a place Cleopatra once called the Chamber of Rain. There is no rain here, of course, not in the way we know it. But above, in the ceiling, tiny crystal beads have been suspended from invisible strings, and through a clever hidden design, droplets of water fall from them at perfect intervals into wide ceramic bowls below. Plink, plink, plink. The room is filled with gentle rainfall made by hand and dream. Cleopatra loved this sound. It reminded her of distant places she longed to visit but never could. So, she made her rain. You sit by one of the bowls and dip your fingers in the water. It is cool, smoother than silk. When you lift your hand, the droplets roll down your skin like pearls made of time. Nearby, you notice a low bed, almost like a cradle but wide enough for an adult. Cushions line it, and the blanket is made from fine, faded cotton the color of early morning sky. You lie down once more. As you rest, your gaze rises to the ceiling, and you watch the beads sway. With every fall of water, your mind quiets further. The day has let go of you. The world has taken off its shoes and left you in peace. You feel as if you're floating, not away, but deeper. Here, time is not a river. It is a lake, still, reflective, infinite. You may dream again tonight, perhaps of an ancient fig orchard hidden behind the temple where bees hum softly in lavender bushes, or perhaps of a soft-winged owl who once perched in the archways, watching Cleopatra as she read by lantern light. Or maybe of nothing at all, just the sensation of floating through warm night air, wrapped in linen and quiet joy. Outside this chamber, the corridor of echoes continues. There are more rooms beyond, rooms of incense and ink, of feathers and flame, of music made by water dripping on bronze, rooms that remember the scent of jasmine and the weight of silence shared between two people who understand each other without words. But those rooms can wait. Tonight, your journey was through memory and rainfall. You are not alone. The walls of this chamber have heard 1,000 heartbeats slow to rest. They remember every breath that chose peace over pressure. And now, they remember yours. Let your breath follow the rhythm of the rain. In dot, 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 out. Plink, in, dot, 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 out. Plink, every beat a step toward sleep. every drop a deeper surrender. Cleopatra's temple has welcomed you again. It asks nothing of you but stillness, and in return, it gives you rest as ancient as the Nile and as soft as moonlight. Sleep now. Sleep, dreamer of stars. Sleep, guest of the Queen. Sleep, heart wrapped in linen and story. Tomorrow the temple will still be here, and when you are ready, we will walk again. The temple is vast, not in size, but in feeling. Every chamber, every corridor holds a new breath, a new silence, a new kind of stillness that wraps around you as if the walls themselves know how to exhale. Tonight, you wake inside a dream, but only slightly. You are not startled, not disturbed. You open your eyes as gently as a petal opening to the moon. And there, just before you, is a door that wasn't there before. It is made from olive wood, carved with delicate vines and inlaid with bits of glimmering stone, malachite, lapis, and quiet flecks of moonstone. At its center rests a handle shaped like an unopened blossom. You rise, not to explore, but to surrender. The temple never calls you forward with force. It whispers, and you follow with trust. As your hand wraps around the blossom handle, the door sighs open. Beyond it is the garden, a walled courtyard hidden deep within the heart of the temple. No guide maps ever named it, no records listed it. It was Cleopatra's own secret, the garden where silence grows. It opens like a breath held for too long and finally released. And the air, oh, the air. It smells of night flowers, jasmine, blue lotus, and a mysterious blossom that only blooms under starlight. The wind here does not blow. It floats, curling lazily through leaves and over stones. You step in barefoot. The stone path beneath you is smooth, kissed by centuries of sandal and shadow. The ground is still warm from the sun, though the sun left long ago. Moonlight fills this place like water in a bowl. Everything here is alive, but nothing rushes. The vines grow in slow spirals, leaning gently over the edges of walls like they're listening. The trees do not reach for the sky. They simply exist, their branches swaying faintly with the rhythm of dreams. At the center of the garden is a reflecting pool, no larger than a sleeping mat. It is shaped like an eye, and its surface is so still, so silver, that the stars do not shimmer in it. They sit, quietly watching. Cleopatra planted this garden on a night like this. She came alone, carrying small cloth bundles of seeds gathered from across the lands she ruled and loved. She dug each hole by hand, whispered to each seed a word of hope, covered them with sand, and sang. No music, no ceremony, just a simple melody. A song only the night wind and the roots below the earth could understand. And the garden grew, not quickly, not all at once, but faithfully, quietly, just like sleep. Now, as you walk its paths, each step slows your breath further. You pass beneath a fig tree heavy with ripening fruit. Their skins are soft, glowing faintly in the moonlight like lanterns. A single fig falls silently and lands in the grass beside you. It does not burst, it rests, just like you, just like everything here. A soft rustle to your left, nothing alarming. A small white cat emerges from behind a wall of lavender. She blinks up at you with slow eyes, then curls herself at your feet. Her presence is neither companion nor guardian. She is simply here, and so are you. You sit by the pool. The stone around it is warm. You trail your fingers in the water. It is cool, welcoming. It does not resist you. It receives you. It reflects you, not as you are seen in mirrors, but as you are in stillness. You close your eyes, and for a while, you forget even your own name. It isn't lost. It's just resting somewhere inside the leaves. And you breathe, in, outside, like waves on a shore that's never been touched by storm. From the far side of the garden, a soft sound rises, like bells made of glass struck by the fingers of wind. It is the flower gong. Cleopatra had it crafted from the petals of golden poppies dipped in sacred resin and bound with threads of moon silver. It rings only when silence reaches its purest form, only when the garden itself feels safe enough to exhale. It rings now, and your heart responds, not with excitement, not with fear, but with the deep pull of being welcomed home. You lie back on the grass. The white cat has curled beside your leg. Above, the stars gaze down, not as watchers, but as old friends who remember every dream you've ever forgotten. Time begins to dissolve. Your limbs grow heavy, not with exhaustion, but with permission. Permission to let go, to soften, to sleep. All around you the plants sigh. The air folds itself like a blanket. Even your thoughts slow down, no longer needing to form sentences. They drift into shapes, soft, round, weightless. Somewhere in the garden, a flower opens its petals, not to bloom, but to listen. Somewhere else, a fig drops gently onto the earth. Somewhere beyond the walls, the temple hums with stories you will hear another night. But for now, there is only this: the sound of your breath, the cool silver of the pool, the silence of the garden growing, and the long, slow comfort of rest that has no end. Sleep now, dear traveler. You have walked gently. You have listened deeply. You have arrived. You are safe beneath the stars. You are soft among the leaves. You are still inside the silence. The temple never sleeps. It simply exhales and waits. Some say it breathes with the stars. Others say it listens to the footsteps of dreamers, guiding them with gentle invitations rather than commands. It does not rush. It does not shout. It simply opens when you are ready to wander a little further. Tonight, you rise from the garden. Your body is warm from the moss-soft earth. Your limbs move slowly like leaves in a breeze. The white cat that had been beside you stretches, arches its back, and silently melts into the lavender bushes once more. You pass through the door of vines and starlight, and the temple greets you again with flickering oil lamps and the faint scent of old scrolls. There is a corridor ahead now, one you have not seen before. It is lined with stone that glows a pale golden hue, like the first light before sunrise. Along its walls, hundreds of tiny alcoves flicker with lanterns. Each one holds a small flame, soft and unwavering. The air smells of parchment, cedar, and ancient rosewood. You follow the curve of the corridor. Your footsteps are hushed by a woven carpet, so old and so gentle that it feels like walking on memory. The lanterns do not grow brighter as you move. They remain as they are, calm, quiet, undisturbed. They are not here to guide you. They are here to keep watch. At the end of the corridor is an arched doorway, carved with papyrus stalks, stars, and open hands. This is the entrance to the Library of Dust and Lanterns. It is not a library in the way scholars know them. There are no tall bookshelves or loud scroll keepers, no feathered pens scratching out histories. This is a library built not for study, but for remembrance. You step through the arch. The air grows heavier, but not oppressively. It is the weight of silence that has been cared for, preserved. The room is wide and circular, with no clear corners. The floor is covered in a swirling mosaic of silver, ivory, and sand-colored tile, shaped to resemble ripples in water. In the center sits a round stone table, low to the ground, surrounded by velvet cushions. But it is the walls that take your breath. They rise up in gentle curves covered with alcoves, each holding a scroll, a folded cloth, a sealed jar, or a bundle wrapped in linen and tied with reeds. Some are labeled, others are not. Every item is covered in a thin layer of dust. Not neglect, but respect. This is where Cleopatra placed the thoughts she couldn't speak, the letters she never sent, the dreams she scribbled in the middle of sleepless nights, the gifts of travelers who whispered secrets into jars and sealed them with wax. Every object in this room is a whisper too tender for the world. You walk slowly between the alcoves, fingers tracing the air just beside each relic. You don't disturb, you don't open, but the presence of them surrounds you like 100 lullabies humming in harmony. One lantern catches your eye. It glows a little softer than the rest, not brighter, but closer, as though it sees you. Beneath it lies a scroll bound in ribbon dyed with crushed hibiscus. You kneel slowly and sit on a cushion. Your body sinks, supported not just by the fabric, but by something deeper, like the room itself holds you in its arms. You untie the ribbon. The scroll unrolls with a gentle sigh. It is written in a mixture of languages. Some you know, others your heart seems to understand without learning. You read slowly. It is a letter. Cleopatra, in her own hand, addressed not to a king or an enemy or an ally, but to herself. She writes of weariness, of longing, of listening to the stars and wondering if they listen back, of wishing she could be more than a queen, wishing she could simply be. You pause. You close your eyes, and for a moment you feel her beside you, not in grandeur, not in myth, but in stillness, in silence. A woman who sought rest, who planted gardens in moonlight, who wrote letters to herself so she would remember her own softness. You roll the scroll gently, return it to its place, and whisper a thank you, not because you must, but because silence sometimes deserves a reply. Around the room, other lanterns glow with their own quiet pulse. Each one holds a light that has been burning for centuries, never in arrogance, never in urgency. They burn to remember, to preserve, to rest. You return to the center table where a blanket has been draped across one of the cushions. You lower yourself onto it, lie back, and let the dust-filled golden glow fill your senses. Your eyes drift toward the ceiling. It is painted not with stories, but with sleep. Swirls of blue, lines of soft ochre, flecks of silver leaf pressed into the shape of moons. Not one moon, many, a library of them, each in a different phase, each glowing faintly, watching. Your breath matches the hush of the lantern flames. In, outside, in, outside. You are not here to study. You are not here to learn. You are here to let go. Here, sleep is the greatest scholar, and dreams are the scrolls that matter most. As your body begins to drift, you feel your mind float gently out into the room, not as a thought, but as a presence. You are weightless, unbound, carried not by logic, but by the deep tide of slumber. And just before your thoughts disappear into the soft folds of sleep, you hear it, the softest of whispers, not from a voice, but from a lantern. It flickers once, then twice, and you understand. You are remembered here, not because of what you've done, but because you came, because you listened, because you allowed yourself to rest. The library of dust and lanterns welcomes you, and it will welcome you again, and again, and again. Sleep now. Let your breath grow slow. Let your limbs forget their names. Let your thoughts curl into the shape of ancient scrolls. Let the lanterns keep watch. They always do. You are still in the temple, but the room has changed again. Not suddenly. The way shadows shift when clouds pass across a sleepy sky, that's how the world around you becomes new. You remember the lanterns. You remember the scroll. You remember the hush of dust and silk. But now, the warmth beneath your back feels gentler, and the glow in the room no longer flickers. It pulses like a heartbeat shared with the stars. A gentle breeze rolls beneath the stone doorway behind you, carrying the smell of clove and sandalwood. And along with it, a whisper. Come. You do not rise quickly. There is no need. The temple waits, and as always it holds you first, then guides you. You sit up slowly, wrapped in the memory of rest. Ahead of you is a corridor bathed in the faintest orange glow, like the inside of an ember just before it fades. The walls here are curved and smooth, as if shaped by time itself. No sharp edges, no straight lines, just the rhythm of breath made into stone. You follow the corridor, guided not by torches or lamps, but by something softer. Flames the size of your fingernail, floating mid-air like fireflies made of incense and prayer. They drift alongside you. They do not light the way, they become the way. At the end of the corridor is an open archway with no door. There is no need for doors here. What is sacred is never hidden, only honored. You step inside the chamber of feather and flame. It takes your breath, but only so it can replace it with something better. Peace. This room feels alive. Not loud, not wild. Alive in the way a sleeping child is alive. You feel it in the warmth of the air, just enough to soften your muscles, just enough to quiet your heart. It's the kind of warmth that makes you want to lie down and listen, to drift. The floor is covered in feathered mats, layers of linen and silk, each one scattered with bird feathers of every color you could imagine. They don't float or fly. They rest. They've chosen to stay. And above, the ceiling is a dome of flame. But it does not burn. Golden fire swirls slowly overhead, moving like ink dropped into water. The flames spin in spiral patterns, glowing brighter at the edges and fading to soft amber in the middle. They make no sound, and yet you hear everything. This is the room where Cleopatra wrote her dreams, not with pen or scroll, but with light and warmth. She would lie on the feather mats, close her eyes, and let her thoughts rise. And as she did, the fire above would shape itself into her dreaming, not for others to see, not even for herself, but to release them into air, into beauty, into memory that asks nothing in return. You move toward the center of the room and find a large round mat, woven with strands of golden thread and lined with feathers from white ibis and night herons. You sit, you lie back. The mat cradles you like a nest. The air is warmer here, softer too. It wraps around you like an embrace that expects nothing, offers everything. You look up. The flames shift slowly above. They begin to form shapes. First, a bird. Its wings open wide, gliding slowly through the fire, made entirely of gold. Then a boat, sailing across the sky on a river of stars, its sail unfurled but catching no wind. It moves anyway, gently, surely, and then a face, not detailed, not exact, but you know it's her, Cleopatra, not as a queen, not as an icon, but as a soul, a flame shaped like longing, like hope, like stillness so deep it begins to glow. You watch the flames move. They tell no stories. They offer no lessons. They simply dance in silence, whispering in the language of warmth. Your eyelids begin to lower, but the fire doesn't dim. It welcomes your sleep. The flames above become slow rivers of orange and red, swirling in loops and spirals, each one a lullaby written in light. You feel it in your chest, this motion. It quiets your pulse. It rocks your breath. And then, a single feather falls from above. It does not fall quickly. It drifts, side to side, slowly, softly, until it lands on your chest. And when it does, something inside you releases, a thought you didn't know you were holding, a weight you didn't know you'd carried, a worry that had disguised itself as silence. Gone. The feather remains unmoving, and your body begins to sink, not into sleep, but through it, down, down, into the warmth beneath the feather mats, into the memories of fire, into the quiet Cleopatra knew when she laid here in the dark and let the flames remember her. Here, dreams are not images. They are warmth. They are softness. They are the moment before waking that never arrives. Outside the chamber, the floating flames wait silently in the corridor. They do not follow you. They protect the doorway, keep the stillness sacred. Inside, the dome glows. You have not spoken for hours. You have not needed to. The flames have spoken for you. They have told your sleep, "Come closer," and it has answered. Now your breath is slower. Your thoughts have curled inward. Your limbs are draped in sleep's invisible blanket, and your mind is beginning to drift into the place between stories and stars. And just as your body becomes weightless, you feel one last thing. A hand, not of flesh, not of fire, but of presence. It rests on your shoulder. It does not hold you down. It reminds you, you are held. The flames above slow further. Their spirals begin to still. Their shapes begin to soften. And your breath, in dot, 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 out. Slower, softer. The feather on your chest does not move. It has become part of you. You have become part of the flame. You are now one of the stories written in light. You are home in the chamber of warmth. Sleep, dreamer of fire. Sleep, guest of the feathered mat. Sleep, light of the lantern's memory. Sleep. The fire above you has faded, not extinguished, but softened into a quiet amber glow that lingers like a memory. The chamber of feather and flame holds your body as though it were sculpted just to cradle you. You are rested, but not finished. And the temple knows. You rise, not out of effort, but from invitation. Something wordless moving through your limbs, like sleep itself is walking with you. You step once again into the corridor. But this corridor is not like the others. It is darker. Not heavy dark, but velvet dark. A comforting kind of dark, like the inside of a warm tent, where the world outside no longer matters. Your bare feet touch woven reeds, arranged in careful, gentle patterns. With every step, they whisper beneath you. Tiny sighs of softness. A gentle mist hangs in the air. Not wet, not cold, just present. Like memory turned into breath. The lanterns here are not flames, but soft pulses of golden fog, sitting in little shells carved into the wall, barely lighting the way, just enough to remind you are not alone. Ahead, a curtain made of reed and silk hangs from the ceiling, gently swaying. It breathes. Yes, it breathes. And when you part it and step through, you find yourself in the room of breathing walls. The first thing you feel is weightlessness. Not the kind that lifts you up into the air, but the kind that removes everything that isn't needed. The room is round and soft. The walls curve inward ever so slightly, as if they were leaning toward the center, to listen, to hold, to care. But the wonder of this room is in what you feel, because with every breath you take, the room responds. You inhale, the walls expand, a gentle lift, a shared rising, like the whole space is taking in the night with you. You exhale, the walls relax. You feel it, not as movement, but as presence. They settle, just as you do, just as your body sighs. This room was crafted by Cleopatra's architects not from plans, but from meditation. She wanted a space where even the stone would remember what it meant to rest. So they carved channels behind the walls, tiny, sacred passages that carried warm desert air in a slow, spiraling flow. It creates no wind, no sound, just breathe. And now, that breath becomes yours. You move to the center of the room. There is no mat, no cushion, only the smoothest stone beneath your feet. So soft and polished it feels like walking on skin. At the center lies a circle of pearl-colored sand. It is warm, and you lie down in it. Not to sleep, to be still. The sand embraces you gently, flowing around your limbs, your back, your head. Not swallowing, but cradling, as if 1,000 soft hands had turned to grains just to hold you. The ceiling above is domed, and though it is dim, faint etchings glow with a cool light. Stars, spirals, breathing symbols. And in the very center, a delicate sculpture hangs, a circle of carved alabaster feathers, arranged to mimic the rising and falling of lungs. With every breath, it moves slightly. Inhale, it expands. Exhale, it closes. A slow, endless rhythm. As you lie there, something begins to happen. Not around you, but within you. You begin to breathe with the room. You are not trying to. You are simply remembering how. Your inhale is no longer effort. It is permission. Your exhale is no longer release. It is return. In dot, dot, dot. The air enters your chest like warm honey. Out. It leaves like soft silk pulled through water, and the room follows. You are not alone in your rhythm. You are joined. The temple breathes. The sand beneath you breathes. The soft mist in the air breathes. And slowly, the sound of your heartbeat dissolves into the room's hum. Not gone, joined. You no longer know where your body ends and the room begins. You are not floating. You are not sinking. You are becoming part of a place that has never needed words, only presence. You close your eyes, not to sleep, but to disappear more fully into stillness. And in that stillness, you begin to remember. Not memories from your life, but from another life. A life not lived in time, but in silence. You remember a lullaby sung by a voice made of stone and sky. You remember fingers tracing symbols on sand that glowed in the dark. You remember breathing for the first time, not as a newborn, but as someone who had been holding their breath for centuries. Here, in the room of breathing walls, you remember how to be held. And now, sleep comes. It does not fall on you. It moves through you, like wind through wheat, like mist through morning, like peace through stone. You are the breath of the temple now, and the temple is the breath of you. You do not need to dream, because this is the dream. Stone, air, warmth, silence. You are no longer lying down. You are resting in rhythm. You are not watching time pass. You are becoming time's stillness. Sleep now. Sleep as the room exhales. Sleep as your bones remember softness. Sleep as the world forgets the noise. Sleep as the temple leans in to hold you. You do not rise immediately from the room of breathing walls. Why would you? The stone beneath you is soft like memory. The air round you moves like sleep still listening. Your breath no longer belongs to you alone. It is shared, slow, held in harmony with the temple itself. And yet, a new stillness arrives. Not heavier, deeper. A beckoning stillness. One that tugs gently at your fingertips and hums through the sand that cradles your back. You open your eyes and see a shimmer in the doorway. Not a flame, not a light, but the delicate reflection of water dancing against the wall, though you hear no splash, no drip. The water is calling. You rise slowly, your limbs light, your soul softer than it has ever been. You do not walk, you drift, as if the air has learned your shape and now carries you forward. Past the curtain of reeds, past the breath-warmed halls, past the mist-shelled lanterns, and into a room shaped like a shell forgotten on the shore of time. This is the pool of forgotten names. You step inside, and the hush grows so full it feels like the entire temple is holding its breath for you. The chamber is wide, open to the sky above. The walls curve upward into gentle petals of carved stone, and in the middle, like a mirror turned upward toward the moon, is a still pool. Not large, not deep, but endless. Its surface is perfectly smooth, like glass. Not a ripple, not a leaf, not even a breeze. And above it, the sky stares down, a black velvet bowl sprinkled with stars. One, directly overhead, blinks steadily, as if it remembers you. The pool does not ask for offerings. It waits as all sacred things do. You walk closer. and the scent meets you first, cool, calming, like blue lotus dipped in silver water. A smell that makes your muscles fall even further into softness, that makes your eyelids grow heavy with tenderness. Beside the pool is a low stone bench, draped in thin linens that shimmer faintly under the stars. You sit, and beside you lies a smooth piece of clay, the size of your palm, shaped like a leaf. Cleopatra's guests, those most trusted, were given these leaves when they arrived at this part of the temple. On each leaf, they would whisper a name. The name of a sorrow. The name of a fear. The name of a wound they could no longer carry. Or even their own name, if they wished to set it aside for a while. They would whisper the name, then place the clay into the pool, and the water would take it, not to forget it, but to hold it for them, to carry the weight, to offer rest. You pick up the clay leaf. It is warm. You lift it gently to your lips, and though no sound escapes, you feel the name pass into it. You do not have to say it aloud. The temple already knows. The name could be a worry, or a burden, or simply a label the world gave you, one that no longer fits. You place the leaf onto the water, and the moment it touches the surface, the pool shifts. Not a ripple, a glow. Software like moonlight breathed into the dark. The clay leaf floats, then begins to dissolve. Not fast, not like erasure, like surrender. It melts into the pool, becoming one with the water and the name. The name fades, not vanished, but released. You sit silently, watching the water return to stillness, watching the stars reflect back to you, watching the name you gave float into peace. All around the edges of the pool, thin reeds grow, each one tipped with dew, though no rain has come. These reeds never sway. They listen, and from one of them, a soft note rises, like a sigh sung by wind. Then another, and another. A harmony begins, so faint, so gentle, like a lullaby made of silence. This is the temple's song of release. Not farewell, not forgetting, but letting go. You lie down now on the stone bench, your head resting on folded linen that smells faintly of crushed chamomile and old parchment. The pool glows beside you, dim but endless, its surface reflecting your quiet heartbeat. Your eyes flutter closed, but your soul, it floats. You are now the clay leaf. You are now the breath placed upon the water. You are now the name that has asked nothing but to rest. And as the pool settles once more into perfect stillness, the stars above return to their soft watching. One in particular, just above, seems to blink once more. It does not call. It does not shine. It waits, just like the temple, for your return, for your peace, for your sleep. And sleep now comes, slow and smooth, like cool water over sand. You feel it rise from your toes, to your knees, to your chest, to your crown. You are not being pulled under. You are being held. You are not sinking. You are being received. You are not fading. You are becoming still as the pool, as still as the reed, as still as the name no longer needed. Sleep, gentle soul. Sleep beneath the starlit silence. Sleep beside the waters that remember without weight. sleep in the temple's arms. The name you gave is safe, and you are free. The pool of forgotten names remains behind you now, still glowing, still waiting, still holding what you chose to release. But the temple, in its endless kindness, has already opened the next chamber. Quietly, gently, like dawn opening the sky without sound. You rise without weight. Your steps leave no imprint. Your breath is slow, easy, like a silk scarf gliding through air. Before you is a narrow hallway, unlike the ones before. Its walls are lined with soft cloth instead of stone. Woven tapestries hang to either side, moving ever so slightly in a breeze that seems to come from within the fabric itself. The hallway leads into the room of sacred threads. A hush greets you as you enter. Not the hush of silence, but the hush of presence. It's the feeling you get when you walk into a room where something sacred is already happening, and has been happening for a very long time. The space is wide, circular, and dimly lit with hundreds of hanging lanterns, each one wrapped in translucent silk dyed in soft hues: amethyst, rose, clay, and moonstone white. But it is the fabric that takes your breath. Hundreds of veils hang from the ceiling. They flow like waterfalls made of memory. Some are thick, embroidered with gold and silver threads. Others are thin as breath, catching the air and dancing slowly. Each veil moves just enough to create the illusion that time here does not walk. It sways. Cleopatra's seamstresses once called this chamber the heart's loom. Here, her dreams were not merely recorded, they were sown. She would describe them in hushed tones, half asleep, half awake, and the weavers would spin them into sacred cloth, using thread soaked in moonlight and dye mixed with the sap of desert blossoms. Each veil is a memory given form. Some are wide, depicting entire dreams. Others are narrow, just a whisper of color stitched with a single word. Return. Breathe. Software. Forget. Forgive. Sleep. You walk between the veils now, your fingers brushing the edge of one. It feels cool at first, then warm, like skin that remembers being held. The threads carry sensation, and as you move, they begin to speak. Not aloud, but through touch. One veil brushes your arm, and suddenly you remember. A dream you had as a child, floating on a raft, drifting into a lake made of starlight, hearing lullabies sung by fish with wings. Another veil brushes your cheek, and you remember something not yours. Cleopatra's memory of sitting beneath a flowering fig tree, surrounded by her handmaidens, all of them weaving small pieces of silk while humming songs of sleep. Their laughter was soft. The day was long. The wind was kind. You walk farther, deeper into the room. And there, in the center of it all, is a circular loom. It is still spinning. Slowly, endlessly. Gold thread passes through its center, weaving itself across a bolt of translucent midnight blue silk. No one tends it. It weaves alone, fed by silence. This loom is the heart of the room. It never stops. It does not need instruction. It listens only to the dreamers who rest nearby, and it weaves what their hearts can no longer speak aloud. You approach and sit near it. The cushions are low, soft as moss, and above you, a wide veil hangs directly from the ceiling. It is stitched with a pattern that slowly reveals itself as you look longer. the outline of your breath, the rhythm of your dreams, the shape of your stillness, your story unfolding, not in words but in waves. You lie down beneath it. The fabric moves gently above you, not with breeze, but with memory. You close your eyes, and the veil lowers just a little until it rests a breath above your skin. It does not cover you. It mirrors you. It reflects your quietest thoughts, the ones that never had names. And slowly, your heartbeat matches the motion of the loom. Each beat a thread, each breath a stitch, each moment of rest, a knot tied not in confusion, but in comfort. You feel it happening. A veil is being made for you. Even now, in the center of the room, the loom is spinning. The gold thread moves. Your sleep becomes silk. Not the kind that binds, the kind that remembers. Software infinite, gentle. The kind of cloth Cleopatra once wore only on nights she wanted to vanish into her own dreams and return whole. A soft chime sounds somewhere above, made not of metal, but of crystal sewn into one of the veils. It sings in response to stillness, and your body answers. Every muscle melts into the cushions. Your back no longer carries anything. Your mind floats like the veils above, and your soul drapes itself into the tapestry of the temple. You are not dreaming. You are being dreamed. The room is weaving you into its memory. You have become a sacred thread, not to be remembered by name, but to be cherished by silence. Sleep now. Sleep in silk spun by stars. Sleep as the loom spins your quietest story. Sleep as the veil above you sways in time with your breath. You are not alone. The temple is your blanket. The thread is your song. The story is not ending. It is only deepening. The veil above you still sways. It has memorized your breath, your softness, your stillness. You lie beneath it a little longer, wrapped in calm, blanketed by silence spun into silk. But the temple knows when you are ready, before even you do. So, with the slow lifting of one limb, then another, you rise, not hurried, not fully awake, but called. A warm path of linen has been laid beside the sacred loom. You follow it. Each step you take seems quieter than the last, until you begin to wonder if you are even walking, or if the temple is carrying you gently forward. You pass through a small arch woven from palm reeds and tiny beads of polished amber. It makes no sound as you cross beneath it, but you feel it. A slight tingle at the back of your neck, as if a curtain of invisible water has just passed over you. Ahead of you now is a curved bronze door. It is round at the top, shaped like a sun just rising over the desert. It is etched with footprints, small, delicate, bare, the kind of footprints left by a child or someone lost in thought. The door is not locked. It never has been. You place your hand gently at its center, and it opens with the sigh of polished hinges. And beyond, silence, not absence, fullness, a space so quiet it seems to hold everything. This is the hall of quiet footsteps. It is wide, but not grand, long, but not endless. Its walls are polished sandstone, soft and golden, bathed in indirect light from narrow windows near the ceiling. Windows covered in thin alabaster that glows with the moonlight above. The floor is covered in woven strips of linen, layer upon layer, like a path that has been walked gently for centuries. You step in, and the silence greets you, not like an echo, not like emptiness, like presence, like a soft breath drawn in and never forced out. Your footsteps make no sound, not because the floor muffles them, but because you are now walking in a place that remembers how to walk gently. Cleopatra had this hall built late in her reign, after many voices, many speeches, many crowds. She wanted a place where every step would feel like a prayer, a place where she could pace at night, barefoot, wrapped in a shawl, and hear only the quiet sound of thought becoming peace. You walk as she once did, slowly, one step, then another, then pause. Inhale, exhale. The hall is lined with pillars carved with faint shapes, birds in flight, reeds bending in wind, water rippling in concentric circles. Not symbols of power, symbols of surrender. You pause before one. Place your hand against the stone. It is warm, alive. The stone holds the memory of her footsteps, and now it holds yours. The floor shifts slightly beneath you, not physically, but emotionally. It welcomes your tiredness. It receives your quiet. Halfway down the hall, there is a bench, low, made from olive wood. A single linen cushion rests on top, embroidered with a single glyph, a closed eye. You sit, and suddenly you understand. This hall isn't only for walking. It's for stopping, for resting between the spaces of your thoughts, for recognizing that footsteps don't always mean movement. They can mean return. They can mean surrender. They can mean pause. You lean back. The wall behind you is curved, just enough to support your spine. The air here is cooler, but only just. The kind of cool that makes blankets feel softer, breaths feel deeper, hearts feel slower. And then, something new. From the far end of the hall, you hear it. A step. Not loud, not foreign. A memory, walking. You turn your head gently, and you see her. Cleopatra. Not as a queen. Not as a legend, but as a soul, like yours. She is barefoot, robed in a soft garment the color of river clay, her hair loosely braided, her gaze downward in thought. She walks slowly, as if the hall were made of sleep and she is careful not to wake it. She does not look at you, but you are not unseen. She walks past, and as she does, the space around you warms. Your body loosens. Your mind stills. You feel as though your presence here has been acknowledged, accepted, and folded into the fabric of the hall. You rest your head against the cushion, and for the first time, you stop thinking. Not because you force it, because the hall has taught you how. You close your eyes. The linen beneath you sighs. The wall behind you hums, and in the background, her footsteps continue. Slow, measured, sacred, each one a thread being stitched into the hush. You are floating now, not through air, through silence. The hall becomes longer, wider. It folds out like a dream returning to the stars it came from. And you are no longer a visitor. You are part of it. The hush, the warmth, the slow, eternal walk toward rest. Sleep now. Sleep as softly as her footsteps. Sleep as still as the pillars curve. Sleep as quietly as memory can remember. The hall will hold you. The floor will welcome you. The walls will exhale with you. You need not move again tonight. You have already arrived. The chamber of soft echoes fades behind you like a lullaby exhaled. You don't remember standing, but you are walking. You don't remember blinking, but your eyes now see something new. The wind chime curtain no longer sings behind you. It sighs. And ahead, a breeze. Cool, feathered. Not wind, but something else. The kind of breeze made not by weather, but by wings. Before you now stands an arch, low, woven from olive branches and reeds dipped in violet dye. The scent of dusk rises from it, soft and wild. Notes of jasmine, acacia bark, old parchment, and fig skin. As you pass through, the ground beneath you changes, from linen and stone to earth. Soft soil, warm, ancient. You have entered the garden of dusk and dreaming birds. It is open to the sky, but this sky is not dark. It is the color of half-closed eyes, lavender, pearl gray, bronze pink, a sky forever caught in that single eternal breath between sunset and night. This garden does not bloom in full light. It blooms in almost light. There are no roses here, no sunflowers, only soft-petaled vines with silver leaves, only low trees with curved branches like arms welcoming rest, only lantern moss glowing gently near stones that remember being sat upon. And in the branches above are birds, not ordinary birds. They are small, light, silent. Their feathers carry the colors of dreams, deep blue, dusty gold, smoky white. They do not sing with voices. They hum with memory. Cleopatra loved these birds. She called them her sleep messengers. When her heart was heavy, she would lie beneath them and let them flutter above her, carrying her unspoken thoughts away on wings lighter than sighs. You walk gently into the garden. Each step stirs a patch of glowing moss, which lights only as you pass, never too bright. Just enough to say, "We see you." To your left is a tree with low-hanging limbs. Beneath it lies a hammock, hand-woven from papyrus threads and silk strips dyed in moon and sand. You rest in it now. Your body slides gently into the curved cradle, and the hammock sways, not by force, but by design. It has remembered how to move. It moves the way water does when it carries fallen leaves, slowly, lovingly. Above you, one of the dreaming birds lands on a branch and tilts its head toward you. You hear nothing, but you feel a hum. It travels from the bird's chest into the branch, down through the trunk, into the soil, and up through the tree roots into the hammock itself. That hum reaches your spine, then your chest, then your heartbeat, and your body, once again, forgets effort. Your hands rest palm up. Your feet fall open like petals soaked in dusk, and your thoughts drift upward, one by one, like feathers, and the birds gather them. Each one silently plucks a thought from the air above your head. Worry, expectation, regret, tension. One by one, the birds take them. They do not eat them. They do not bury them. They carry them. Beyond the garden, beyond the sky, beyond even the stars. They return only when you have forgotten what you let go. And even then, they return only as whispers of peace. You lie deeper in the hammock now. You are not swinging. You are floating. between tree and sky, between breath and silence, between dusk and sleep, and the garden sings without music. Its leaves shift softly. Its moss pulses like the hush of a lullaby with no language. And the birds, they begin to circle. Their wings make no sound, but their presence presses against the space above you. And from that pressure, dreams form. You see one drift downward now, a dream, not one you've had, one the temple saved for you. You see a field of warm wind, full of pillows and flowing scarves. You see a mountain made of memory, and every step taken on it releases a scent from childhood. You see a cup being poured into by invisible hands, and it never overflows, but it never empties. These dreams are not instructions. They are companions. They lie beside you in the hammock. They tuck themselves beneath your knees, behind your neck, into the space between your ribs. And with each breath, you soften more. Even your name begins to loosen, not disappear, but soften. And the birds, oh, the birds. They circle once more. And as they do, they shed a feather each, light, glowing, shaped like a sigh. The feathers do not fall. They descend, slow, graceful, peaceful. Each one touches your skin, your forehead, your palm, your shoulder, and when it does, it leaves a warmth that lasts. You are covered now, not by blankets, by gifts. Gifts from silence, gifts from dusk, gifts from dreaming birds. You need not move. The sky has paused its setting. The wind has curled itself into your shape. The earth beneath the hammock hums in time with your breath. And now, finally, sleep completes its arrival, not by falling, by landing, software certain, whole. Sleep, starlit dreamer. Sleep beneath the hush of wings. Sleep as the garden grows peace around your resting body. Sleep as the birds carry what you no longer need. You are not asleep yet, but you are very, very close. And that, too, is sacred. The garden of dusk and dreaming birds fades behind you like a sigh. The last feather floats down into the moss, and the hammock, no longer swaying, hums with the final note of a lullaby never sung aloud. You are lighter now, not because you've risen, but because you've released. You follow a path of stone steps carved into the earth, each one embedded with slivers of white quartz that catch and soften the starlight. They lead downward, gently, into a space beneath the garden. As you descend, the air cools, not with chill, but with hush. The kind of coolness that fills ancient caves and libraries where secrets are too sacred to rush. Before you appears a door, taller than any you've passed. It is carved from black cedar and bound with ribbons of pale linen. Etched into it is a single image, an empty face. No eyes, no mouth, just a smooth oval. It is not absence, it is readiness. You place your hand upon it, and the linen ribbons unravel, not quickly. They unwind slowly, falling to the ground like petals long past their bloom. The door opens, and you step into the hall of mirrors that do not reflect. The room is dark at first, but not empty. There are no torches, no lanterns. The light here comes from the floor, soft silver spirals etched into the marble, pulsing in slow, perfect rhythm with your breath. The mirrors line the walls, but they are not flat. Each one is curved, like the inside of a bell or the belly of a wave just before it breaks. They do not show your face. You walk toward the first and see something else. A memory, but not one you recognize. It is a version of you, sitting on a bench made of clouds, holding nothing, wanting nothing, smiling, not with joy, but with rest. You blink. The mirror shifts. Now you see yourself as a child, not running, not playing, just watching the sky, eyes full of wondering. You move to the next mirror, and there, you see someone else entirely. Not you, but someone you once carried in your heart. A teacher, a guide, a friend. Someone whose presence once made you feel safe without needing to explain why. They are not speaking, but you feel what they once said. You can let go now. Each mirror does this. They do not show you what you are. They show you what you are ready to release. An identity held too long. A sadness folded too tight. A mask once needed, now tired. A name that no longer fits. This is what Cleopatra built the room for. Not for vanity, not for appearance, but for surrender. Here, you do not ask, "Who am I?" You ask, "What can I now let go?" You pause before a mirror shaped like a teardrop. Within it, you see a figure curled beneath an olive tree, wrapped in silence, wrapped in peace. That figure is you, after release. You reach out to touch the mirror, and it shivers. A ripple of warmth runs up your arm, not electric, emotional. The mirror does not break. It breathes, and the image fades. You understand now. You are not here to find yourself. You are here to uncover yourself, to brush off the layers of time and thought and label, until only presence remains. You continue walking, each step echoing not with sound, but with softness. The mirrors begin to change. They no longer show images. They radiate warmth. You pass one and feel courage. Another and feel forgiveness. Another and feel simplicity, like drinking water when thirsty, like sleep after tears. And at the end of the hall, beneath an arch of black marble and starlight, is a single chair, woven from reeds and wrapped in linen, just large enough for one. You sit. A mirror stands before you. Flat, tall, still. This one does not shimmer. It simply waits. You breathe. And slowly, it begins to glow. At first, you see a face. Yours, but softened. Then you see nothing. Then you see light. A soft pulsing, like a heartbeat wrapped in clouds. That light fills the mirror, then spills forward. It wraps around you, and you realize this final mirror is not here to show you something. It is here to hold you. You sit with it, not watching, not thinking, just existing. And the mirror does not reflect. It receives. It receives your exhaustion, your longing, your hope, your fears, your quiet wishes whispered into the dark when you thought no one was listening. It takes them all and holds them with the gentleness of sleep itself. You close your eyes, and you feel it. a deep quiet beneath the quiet, a stillness beneath the stillness, a peace that does not speak, that does not move, that does not ask. It only gives. Sleep wraps its fingers around you like warm silk. The chair holds you upright. The mirror holds your truth. The room holds your spirit. And you no longer need to remember. Not where you came from. Not what brought you here. Not even who you were. Only that you are loved here. And known here. And safe here. Sleep now. Sleep as the mirror listens. Sleep as the temple sighs. Sleep as your image fades into light. You are not lost. You are becoming still. And the temple, as always, is breathing with you. You do not stand. The chair does not release you so much as the room itself begins to move. The mirror before you folds inward, like silk being drawn back, and behind it, light. Not bright, not dazzling. A muted golden hue, like candlelight seen through closed eyes. You feel it before you see it. A slow pulse, a sigh, a promise. You rise gently, as if you are being lifted by the quiet approval of rest itself. Before you now is a winding staircase, not made of stone or metal. It is built entirely of fabric, thick, woven linen, braided velvet cords, silken rope, braided into steps that yield slightly beneath your feet with each movement, just enough to say, "Take your time." And so you descend, slowly, dreamily. Every step beneath you is a quilted sigh. Every layer of the stair absorbs your presence like soft earth drinking gentle rain. You feel lighter with each step, more distant from time, more wrapped in quiet, more prepared to let go. And then the stairs end, and you arrive. The floor beneath you is thick and cloud-like. You are now inside the chamber of endless blankets. The walls curve gently outward, like a bowl waiting to be filled with silence. There are no torches, no lanterns, only gentle orbs of light resting atop stacked pillows, glowing like quiet moons. And the entire chamber, floor to ceiling, is covered in blankets, layer upon layer, fold upon fold, each blanket stitched with slowness. Some are woven from desert cotton kissed by ancient winds. Others are sewn with fig-dyed silk, filled with crushed flower petals. Some are old, frayed, softened by centuries. Others are freshly woven, still holding the warmth of the loom. They are everywhere. On the floor in wide, sweeping nests, hung from above like hammocks made for clouds, rolled into corners like sleepy animals tucked in for a long nap, folded over ropes strung from curved wooden arches, waiting for the next soul in need of comfort. Cleopatra had this chamber built not for royalty, but for release. Here she would bring no crown, no scrolls, no sandals, only breath, only weariness, only the sacred longing to be wrapped, not in power, but in peace. You move deeper into the chamber. Your feet disappear into layers of softness. You pass a blanket dyed the color of dusk, another dyed with lavender ash, another so pale it looks like morning mist. Each one calls gently. You may rest here. You may let go here. You may stop here. You choose a spot. It is not a bed. It is a nest. a spiral of woven comfort, layered in folds that rise and curve around you like petals closing at twilight. You lower yourself into it, and instantly, the chamber answers. The blankets shift just slightly around your shoulders, behind your knees, at the nape of your neck. They hold your shape like memory molded into cloth, and one by one, more blankets fall from above. Not heavy, not smothering, just present. A thin wool sheet scented with clove, a silk shawl lined with whispers, a woven cotton quilt light as sleep, stitched with symbols that mean nothing, but feel like safety. You are now completely wrapped, not trapped, not enclosed, cradled, and the chamber hums, not a song, a hum, the hum of warmth, the hum of night air curling through linen, the hum of rest turning into release, the hum of a heartbeat slowing into surrender. Your eyes flutter, not from fatigue, from fullness. You have been given so much softness that your body no longer needs to hold its own shape. You are dissolving into cushion, into blanket, into breath. Above you, blankets hang like constellations, each one representing a soul who once slept here and dreamed gently. Each night, one of those dreams is released again, just a whisper. You may feel one drift down to you now, a dream of being held in your grandmother's arms, a dream of floating down a river made of silk and time, a dream of falling, not to be caught, but to be absorbed into softness. And somewhere in the far corner of the chamber, a blanket stirs. It is old, faded indigo, edges frayed, middle patched, but sacred. It belonged to Cleopatra. This was the blanket she chose the night she surrendered everything she no longer needed, not out of despair, but out of trust. The temple wrapped her, and it wraps you now. You feel something shift, not in the room, in your soul, a kind of melting, a dissolving of tightness you forgot you carried. Your fingers curl gently into the blanket at your chest. Your knees soften. Your lips part slightly. Your breath becomes so slow, it almost forgets to continue. But it does. And the chamber continues to hum. Sleep moves through you like warm honey. Sleep surrounds you like seawater that knows how to carry even the heaviest dreams. Sleep presses gently against your ribs, your temples, your spine, and you whisper nothing, because nothing more is needed. The temple has you. The chamber of blankets knows your shape. And sleep. Sleep is already here. You are gone now, not far, just deep, far beneath the surface of thought, held in warmth, floating in softness, a dream wrapped in fabric, a soul stitched into silence. Sleep, dreamer. Sleep beneath folds of stillness. Sleep beneath layers of love. Sleep beneath the breath of blankets that have waited only for you. The chamber will not change. It will always be here, and it will always have more room for your sleep, for your return, for your endless, endless rest. You are so deeply wrapped in softness, you forget your body entirely. The blankets hold your outline, but even they no longer press against you. They float, suspended in a stillness deeper than silence. But something begins to move now. Not quickly, a slow drift, like fog curling across a quiet sea. You rise, not with muscle, with surrender. The folds of the chamber of endless blankets fall away like waves parting to let you through. You walk forward barefoot, each step lighter than the one before. And before you appears a narrow doorway, half hidden in the folds of a silken tapestry. The entrance is shaped like a fading crescent moon, and stitched just above it are the words, "Where clocks forget, where stars breathe slow, where you are nothing and everything." You step through, and the air changes. It is cooler, not cold, still, not empty. This is the room where time forgets its name. You cannot measure this place. It is not wide, it is not small, it simply is. The room curves, but not predictably. The walls ripple gently, like a dream trying to remember its shape. There are no lanterns here, no windows, yet the space glows. A soft lavender shimmer pulses through the walls, rising and falling with no pattern, no beginning, no end. You walk forward. You pause. You forget how long you've been walking. You sit. You stand again. You lie down. Time does not move here, because it is not needed. Cleopatra came here only when the weight of when became too loud, when the days had stacked too high, when tomorrow asked too many questions, when yesterday refused to rest. This is where she came to unremember, and the room welcomed her, as it now welcomes you. In the center of the room is a wide, shallow bowl, carved from pink alabaster, filled with still water. But the water does not reflect your face. It shows you feelings, soft ones, a memory of being held in rain, a sensation of laughing without needing to explain why. The breath just before sleep, stretched out like ribbon. You kneel before the bowl, and for a while, you just watch. Not because you want to, because you can. There is no time here. There is only presence. You dip your fingers into the water, and the feeling that rises up is not wetness. It is removal, as if every tick of every clock that ever lived in your chest has been taken out gently and placed somewhere far, far away. You are not under time. You are not inside time. You are outside of it. And in that space, you begin to dissolve. The thoughts that used to have edges become soft. The stories that once had chapters become lullabies. The questions that asked when begin to answer now. You lie down once more. No mat, no cushion, just the floor of this endless warm place. And as you lie still, the walls begin to shimmer. Not change, not move, just shimmer, like air remembering light. And then you feel it, your breath, stretching. It goes on longer than usual. Each inhale folds into stillness. Each exhale unfolds into peace. And your heartbeat slows, not because you are sleepy, because you are free. Free from time, from schedule, from countdown, from urgency. Even dreams do not rush here. They stroll. You see one now. It comes to you in the shape of a small animal, perhaps a fox. It curls beside your body. It does not speak. It does not vanish. It rests with you. Because here you have forever. You may rest for a minute, or for 1,000 years. You may stay in the same breath, the same heartbeat, and never be late, never fall behind, never forget or remember. You are enough just by being. The room does not measure, it holds. You are not missing anything. You are not running from anything. You are not waiting for anything. Because here, in this room where time forgets its name, you remember you. The version of you that needs nothing but warmth, nothing but a slow, slow breath, nothing but stillness so wide it could cradle the moon. Sleep now. Sleep without seconds. Sleep without ends. Sleep without the weight of when. You are outside the clock now, outside the hour, outside the calendar, and inside something eternal. The temple will keep time for you. You need not carry it anymore. Sleep, slow soul. Sleep in the breathless hush. Sleep as your story rewrites itself into softness. To be continued. The water in the alabaster bowl still cradles your last breath. But now, something beyond the stillness stirs. A gentle pull. Not behind you. Not ahead. Within. The light shifts again, and you notice something you hadn't seen before. A tunnel shaped like a crescent smile at the far edge of the room, carved low into the shimmering stone. It glows not with lanterns, but with names. Yes, names, etched in moonlight into the walls. Each name glows gently, not as language, but as feeling. And as you draw closer, one of the names flares softly. It is not a name others call you. It is a name only your soul remembers. One you were given in silence long before language. A name without letters. A name made of light. You do not need to speak it. It already knows you. You lower your head as you enter the passage, and the air hushes again. It is cooler here, but wrapped in warmth, like sleeping outside under a night sky made only for you. The tunnel curves downward, coiling like a vine made of memory. And soon, you step into the cavern of moonlit names. This space is sacred, ancient, wide. You hear no sound, and yet you feel welcomed. The cavern walls shimmer with inscriptions, not etched by hand, etched by belonging. This is where Cleopatra came when she forgot who she was in the world and needed to remember who she was in herself. She would lie in the center of the cavern, wrapped in a shawl soaked in moon tea, her eyes open, staring at the dome above. There is no ceiling in this room. Above you is sky, dark, silver, infinite, and across its curve are names. They do not shine like stars. They breathe. Each one pulses gently with presence. Some names were given by mothers, others by silence, others still by sorrow. All are held here. All are safe. All are still yours. You walk to the center. The stone underfoot is warm and smooth, and a low bed carved into the ground awaits you, lined with soft wool and feather-stuffed cushions. You lie down, and the sky above begins to move. Not quickly. It rotates like a great wheel in sleep. And as it does, the names come. One by one, they drift down, not with voice, but with feeling. You hear one brush against your skin, and suddenly you remember who you were when you first learned to be kind. Another name lands near your heart, and a memory returns. not of a place, but of a rhythm. The way your breath once matched your grandmother's when you slept beside her as a child. You feel a third name graze your temple, one you never knew you carried. It tastes like rain. It feels like velvet. It sounds like the quiet after someone forgives you. These names are not to be held. They are to be heard. They are gifts, not definitions. The temple never asks you to become something. It only asks you to return. You close your eyes, and the names continue falling, each one wrapping around you like the softest scarf, each one carrying a piece of you long set down. One name makes you sigh. Another brings the faint trace of a tear to your cheek, not from sadness, from recognition. You are not discovering yourself. You are remembering yourself. And the room holds it all. The sky above is now full, glowing with a chorus of names, all gently pulsing, each beat in sync with your own heart. You are not overwhelmed. You are home. You do not need to choose one. They all belong to you. The name of your softness, the name of your laughter, the name of your silence, the name of your sorrow, the name of your dreaming. And just as your breath slows further, the names begin to fade, not gone, just returned to the sky, waiting, knowing, trusting that you will visit again and again and again, the last name to touch you tonight. It lands softly on your lips, and it feels like being kissed by the wind that once carried your first lullaby. You exhale, and sleep finally reaches its final softness. There is no thinking, no reaching, no trying. Only this: the cavern's hush, the sky's slow turning, and your soul, unburdened, floating free in the blanket of remembered light. Sleep now. Sleep as you are known. Sleep as you are named. Sleep as you are unnamed. Sleep as you are held. The last name has kissed your skin. The sky in the cavern of moonlit names begins to dim, not with loss, but with fulfillment. You have received what was yours. Now, it is time to rest in something even older. You rise slowly. The name still rests on your chest, no longer glowing but folded into you like silk pressed into the lining of your soul. Behind the soft slope of the cavern lies a narrow passage, not a hallway, a hushway. The air changes before you step into it. It feels like silence turned into mist. The walls here are lined with velvet, but not to be touched, only to guide you. They press in just slightly, like warm arms creating a path through stillness. You pass beneath a linen banner. It reads only this: "Where even stone sleeps." And you enter the Hall of Sleeping Statues. At first, it is so quiet you wonder if you've stopped hearing. Then, you realize this space is not quiet. It is listening. You walk slowly. The floor is smooth marble, dusted with fine, glittering sand. To your left, the first statue. She stands tall, draped in robes that look like they were folded this morning. Her eyes are closed. Her hands rest gently on her chest. Her lips are slightly parted, as though caught in a final breath before peace. She is not posing. She is sleeping. You realize, as you walk deeper, that each statue in this room is not just carved. They are dreaming. Each one holds the face of someone who once rested in the temple and gave it a dream too powerful, too precious, to release to wind or words. So the temple made them eternal. There is a man with his head bowed, holding a scroll that rolls endlessly toward the floor. He dreamed of knowledge that could never be read. There is a young girl with hands cupped around an invisible flame. She dreamed of warmth that would never burn out. There is an old woman with her feet lifted from the ground, floating ever so slightly. She dreamed of letting go. And now they all dream together. Statues, but alive in the deepest sense. You continue. The ceiling arches above you like a moon's rib cage. The air smells of stone warmed by sleep. No incense here, no oil, only age, only reverence. And the statues begin to change. The ones at the far end of the hall are not of people. They are of feelings. One is a statue of open arms, with no figure, only the embrace. Another is of a blanket half folded, its fabric chiseled from quartz, its creases so soft they catch the light like sleep itself. Another is a cradle, empty, carved with infinite patience. And then, at the very center, a circle of statues. All of them lie down, curved, wrapped, nestled into each other like stones laid carefully by a gentle river. And in the middle, a space, not empty, waiting. The temple has made space. For you. You kneel. And there, at the edge of the circle, a carved mat of soft alabaster invites your rest. You lower your body, and the statue behind you does the same. You are not being watched. You are being mirrored. This entire chamber is sleeping with you. And as you rest, the stone breathes. You feel it, not in your skin, in your bones. Your muscles stop holding. Your jaw releases. Your spine softens into the curve beneath it. And your heart, oh, your heart, slows. You are not alone, and yet you are not crowded. You are with sleep. The kind of sleep so deep that the temple carved it into stone just to remember. Above you, the ceiling begins to shimmer faintly. Small crystals embedded in the arch blink slowly, each one pulsing like the breathing of a dream just beginning. And you are already dreaming, not in pictures, not in stories, but in sensation. You are floating, but you are grounded. You are cradled, but you are free. You are still, but you are traveling into yourself, into the softness, into the oldest kind of knowing. That rest is holy, that silence is language, that sleep is not the absence of wakefulness, but the presence of peace. The statue nearest you opens her hand just slightly. She will not speak, but you understand her message. Stay as long as you need. We have been waiting. You close your eyes, and you become stone. Not hard, but enduring. Not stiff, but still. Not silent, but deeply, divinely quiet. Sleep, dreamer of endless calm. Sleep among the statues who dream with you. Sleep beneath the ceiling that hums your name in crystal. Sleep as the temple turns this moment into forever. You have given nothing. You have lost nothing. You have become rest. You do not rise from stone. You lift from it, effortlessly. The hall of sleeping statues lingers behind you, a hush that promises it will wait, forever if needed. You've been still so long that your body has forgotten weight. Your soul has forgotten sound. And that is beautiful. You pass once more through a passage of velvet mist. No steps, no sound, no thinking. Just the faint echo of feathers stirring somewhere in the unseen distance. Ahead of you, a wooden gate, rounded at the top, made from olive and fig branches, entwined with vines that softly glow like fireflies asleep. It opens before you with no touch, and what lies beyond is not a chamber. It is a grove. You have entered the grove of eternal nesting birds. This is where Cleopatra would come when she could no longer hold herself upright, when even silence felt heavy, when even dreaming was too much. She came here to let the birds carry her, and now so do you. The grove is a circular glade, open to the moon, surrounded by trees so old they have forgotten how to grow, but not how to shelter. Each branch cradles a nest, not one or two, but dozens. Nests woven from reeds, silk scraps, soft feathers, and dried seagrass. Nests as wide as your arms can stretch. Nests made not for eggs, but for dreams. And above, in each nest, a bird, not caged, not perching, sleeping. They are the eternal nesting birds. Their feathers are iridescent under moonlight, dusty lavender, silver ash, honey gold. Their chests rise and fall, slower than any clock, steadier than any wind. Some nest alone. Some curl around one another. Some lie in circles, beaks tucked beneath wings. But all of them sleep, and their sleep glows. Above their heads, the air swirls gently, like mist exhaled from ancient lungs. This is what they breathe. Peace. You walk beneath the trees slowly. Every step on the moss feels like stepping across a lullaby. Your presence does not disturb. You are part of it now. And then you see it. A nest on the lowest branch, woven just for you. It dips ever so slightly. Its shape molded perfectly to your resting spine, your curved arms, your soft breath. You do not climb into it. You arrive. Your body curls without command. Your muscles do not resist. Your thoughts no longer assemble. And from above, a single feather falls. It lands near your neck, warm. Then another on your shoulder. Then more, until you are covered. Not deeply, just enough. The feathers don't weigh. They whisper. Each one hums a single sound that only you can hear. Still, still, still. You close your eyes. Above you, the birds continue to sleep. Around you, the nests sway gently with the wind of breath. And all at once, the grove itself begins to hum. Not in song, in unity. Every sleeping bird, every resting branch, every root beneath your nest, every leaf, every breeze, every grain of moss, breathing with you, and you feel it. You are not just in the nest. You are the nest. You are the softness. You are the cradled one. You are the hush. You are the lullaby. Your breath grows slower, then even slower, until breath no longer feels like effort. It becomes presence. And just before you slip beyond dreams entirely, you hear something. A wind that doesn't blow. curls around your ear like a voice once known, now forgotten. Every soul must return to the nest. And you have, not to hide, not to flee, not to vanish, but to rest, deeply, forever if you wish. You are the last feather. You are the final wing. You are the hush that wraps around the stars and rocks them to sleep. Sleep, cradled one. Sleep in the grove where even the sky exhales. Sleep among the birds who remember nothing but peace. Sleep as you are returned, not to a place, but to yourself. You are safe. You are whole. You are here. You do not wake from the nest. The nest lets you go, softly, like a cloud exhaling you back into the world. The feathers that held you now drift away, weightless, leaving behind a warmth that clings like the last kiss of sunset. You sit up, eyes still half closed. The birds above do not stir. They dream. They hum. They continue. And you are ready. The moss beneath your feet remembers you. As you stand, a low path lights itself with dew, pearls of mist catching moonlight, leading you toward an archway woven from branches and feathers. You walk toward it, each step slower, lighter, gentler, and beyond the arch, sky. Not dark, not bright, the sky of eternal dusk. Lavender, blue ash, rose gold. Clouds stretched thin like the edges of a dream. You step onto a stone balcony that curves out from the cliffside temple wall, its railing carved with stars that glow only when the heart is at peace. You've reached the balcony of eternal dusk. Here, Cleopatra once came when she no longer needed answers, when the questions had all fallen asleep, when her soul was full of silence. She came here not to do anything, but to release. The temple gives you no instruction, only a place to let go. Before you, the balcony stretches out over a great horizon, a sea of moving clouds swirling softly in a wind so slow it feels like time itself is floating. Beside you, resting gently in a carved bowl, are paper lanterns, delicate, rounded, made of pressed lotus petals and threads of moonbeam fiber. Each one holds something, not a candle, a dream. These are your dreams, not the ones you remember, the ones your soul kept safe until you were ready to release them. You pick one up. It is warm. You hold it close to your chest, and for a moment, your breath matches its glow. You do not need to open it. You do not need to name it. You only need to offer it. You step to the edge of the balcony, where the wind rises like a gentle hand cupped in reverence. You whisper a word that means nothing, a word that only this moment understands, and you release the lantern. It floats upward, slowly at first, then with ease. It does not fall. It does not rise with haste. It ascends, and just before it disappears into the horizon, it blooms gently into a soft pulse of light that joins the color of the sky. You have released a dream. You do not lose it. You return it. Another lantern awaits. You lift it, this one heavier. A dream of love not yet spoken. A wish too fragile for waking life. You hold it to your lips and kiss it goodbye. It floats and joins the others. Now the sky is filling. dozens of lanterns rising like soft stars with memory inside. Not burden, not longing, just light. And the balcony breathes with you. Inhale, hold, release. Inhale, hold, release. The wind now moves through your hair, through your soul, through every room of the temple inside you. You do not need to stay here forever. You may visit again, but for now, you have given the dusk your dreams, and dusk, in return, has given you wings. Not for flying, for floating. You sit again, back against the warm stone of the temple wall. The horizon moves slowly. The clouds curl upward like sleepy arms, and the last of your lanterns drifts out of sight. You do not chase it. You smile, and your eyes close, not from fatigue, from completion. The dusk hums your name, not the one from earlier. A new one, softer, wider, quieter. It is not yours to keep. It is yours to become. Sleep, glowing soul. Sleep beneath the sky of release. Sleep where dreams no longer ask to be held. Sleep where the wind knows what you've carried and promises to carry it now. The temple is whole, and so are you. The last lantern disappears into the sky, and the wind bows. It doesn't end. It simply recedes, like a mother stepping back from the cradle once her child has finally fallen asleep. You rest a while longer on the balcony, until you feel it. The temples whisper, not in words, but in a feeling behind the ribs. A pulse of invitation, faint as candlelight flickering inside your breath. You rise, and the stone wall beside you opens silently. Not like a door, like a sigh. Beyond it, stairs. Not built from stone, not shaped by time, but formed from thought. They shimmer like air warmed by memory, and each step feels like stepping across something someone once hoped for. You descend slowly, not downward, inward. And at the bottom, no threshold, no gate, only stillness, and within that stillness, a space. Welcome to the Library of Unspoken Blessings. It is the softest room in the temple. The walls curve like an embrace, and every surface is lined in fabric dyed the color of sand kissed by sunrise. No scrolls, no books, no ink. And yet, you feel surrounded by prayers. They hum in the walls. They shimmer in the folds of the cushions. They drift like light perfume through the air. This is not a place of asking, it is a place of receiving. Cleopatra never spoke in this room. She came here when she was too full of ache to speak, too full of tenderness to name, too full of love to contain. She would sit in the center on a cushion carved from fig bark and stuffed with crushed chamomile, and simply feel. The temple remembered those feelings and made them into blessings. They now fill the room. You kneel at the center. Around you are hollowed spaces shaped like open palms. Each palm holds an offering, not objects, feelings. In one, the warmth of being seen. In another, the weightless calm of knowing you are forgiven even before you asked. In a third, the safety of being held without needing to explain why. You lean gently toward one and place your hand above it, not on it, just near. and the feeling rises like incense through your arm. You do not cry, but your soul does. Soft, golden tears that flow inward. The tears of someone who realizes they have always been blessed, even in silence, even in doubt, even in sleep. You move to another palm. This one glows cooler. The blessing here is permission to rest, to not understand, to not fix everything, to be incomplete and still worthy. You receive it and feel something inside loosen, not break, just unclench. You rest back onto a wide pillow. The blessing of being received wraps around you like wind soaked in jasmine and stillness. The walls glow now, pale blue, pale rose, the color of kindness at twilight. And the room speaks, not in sound, in waves, a wave of thank you. Not because you gave anything, because you allowed yourself to come, because you listened, because you rested, because that alone is sacred. You are not here to collect blessings. You are here to remember that they were always around you. You lie down now, and the cushion beneath you molds to your body like a lover's palm. From above, the ceiling ripples softly, and from its folds, a final gift descends. A whisper of cloth, light as mist, scented faintly with memory. It drapes over your chest. It does not press, it comforts. You feel its warmth enter your breath, and something long forgotten stirs. A blessing that has always followed you. The blessing of simply being, of waking, of sleeping, of hoping, of continuing. That blessing is not spoken, but it wraps around you now like a lullaby made from wind. Sleep, beloved. Sleep in the library where nothing needs to be said. Sleep in the hush that honors your arrival. Sleep beneath the roof built from wordless prayers. You are here, and that is enough. The library of unspoken blessings fades behind you without a sound. Not closed, not ended, just complete. Your body still feels the warmth of the cushion, the silent embrace of prayers never said aloud. And now, as your feet rise from the softness, the air around you changes. Not colder, brighter. But the brightness doesn't pierce. It softens. A golden veil stands before you, woven from reeds dipped in morning mist and threads of polished silence. It sways gently, even though no wind moves through it. You pass through, and before you is light. Light without source. Light without shadow. Light that seems to hum the words. Here you begin again. You have entered the mirrorless room of morning. This room has no shape. It expands and folds with your breath. Its walls are distant, or maybe very close. Its floor feels like stone wrapped in sunlight. It is empty, but not bare. It holds you the way a sky holds a bird. Cleopatra only entered this room at the edge of dawn when she had nothing more to carry, not even herself. She came here when she no longer needed mirrors, when she no longer asked, "Who am I?" but breathed the question, "Am I ready to rest?" And the room always answered the same way, "You already are." There are no reflections here, no walls to echo, no glass to return your gaze, because here there is no need to look outward. Everything you have ever needed is already inside you. You take a step, and your foot touches light. Not harsh, not warm, just presence. Each step hums softly, as though the light is singing back. Yes, yes, yes. There is nothing to see. And yet, you feel seen. You sit at the center of the room, though there is no center, and the light above folds downward, like a great petal unfurling. It drapes across your shoulders, into your hands, across your knees, until your whole being is clothed in light that has forgotten its need to shine. And for a long while, you do nothing, not out of choice, out of peace. There is nothing left to seek. You have passed through dreams, blankets, breath, mirrors, birds, lanterns, and names. Now, there is only this breath, and it is enough. Inhale, still. Exhale, still. Inhale, presence. Exhale, peace. The room begins to hum. Not music, not voice. Beginning. It hums, beginning. The kind that doesn't come with sunrise. The kind that happens when a soul has finally said yes to itself. You are not starting over. You are returning. Returning to the quiet version of you. The one before. Worry before time, before expectation. You may choose to rest here. You may stay folded in light for as long as you need. The temple asks nothing. It simply offers. You lie down. There is no bed. The air catches you. The light beneath becomes a cradle. Your head tips slightly. Your eyelids fall, easily, freely, and you feel something settle into your chest like a final breath that never needs to end. Sleep. Sleep not as ending, not as escape. Sleep as arrival. Sleep as stillness without shadow. Sleep where mirrors are no longer needed. Sleep where you are not seen, only held. Sleep as the temple does, fully, softly, forever. Light cradles you, not like a sunbeam, but like a blanket woven from the breath between night and morning. You lie without pressure, without weight, without any need to wake, and yet something tugs, softly, lovingly, not to pull you away, but to wrap you deeper. The whisper is not in sound, but in breath. A slow inhale that you hear from everywhere, and beneath it, a yawn. Not yours, not Cleopatra's, not even the temple's, but the yawn of the universe itself. The kind of yawn that comes when everything is ready to sleep again. The chamber opens before you now, not by door, not by wall, by invitation. You step gently into the chamber of the eternal yawn. It is vast, so vast that no echo survives, so wide that the air itself moves like water warmed by dream. The ground beneath you is made of pressed starlight, and the size of those who came before you. It gives just enough beneath your feet to say, yes, you may rest here. Above, the sky is not a ceiling. It is the underside of eternity, speckled with stars so sleepy they blink only once every 1,000 years. Some have curled into themselves. Some stretch lazily across the blackness. All of them yawning. You walk a little deeper, and before you rises a great platform carved from moonstone and moss. At its center, a shallow pool, wide, round, and rippling with the breath of the universe. The water does not reflect, it welcomes. And in its center, something floats, a ripple of light. It hums with the deepest sound you've ever felt. Not a thought, not a word, just a vibration older than language. Cleopatra used to come here when she was ready to forget she was a queen. She came to remember she was a body, a breath, a whisper on the fabric of being. She would lie in this chamber for hours, maybe days, perhaps longer, and she would do nothing except yawn, because here yawning is sacred, a ritual, a bridge between the known and the unknown. You lie down now, not on stone, on breath. The chamber forms a cradle beneath you, one made not of matter, but of release. You feel your jaw loosen, your chest lift, your breath widen, and then it comes, your yawn, so long, so slow, so whole. It moves through your body like a wave of surrender. Your fingers uncurl, your toes forget they exist. Your mind, once filled with scenes, images, echoes, begins to float as though it too has let out a great sigh. Above you, the stars yawn back. The water ripples wider, and from every wall, every breath, every silence in this chamber, you hear a chorus, not loud, not unified, but layered, 1,000 yawns, from across time, across soul, each one wrapping you tighter in the fabric of sleep, each one reminding you, you are not alone in your letting go. Everyone, everything, sleeps, the ocean, the wind, the stars, the light, the gods. And now, you. Sleep, noble soul. Sleep with your mouth gently parted. Sleep as your last breath widens into a yawn so vast the stars themselves blink slower. There is no need to wake. There is no morning in this chamber. Only continuation. Only breath. Only softness stretched across the edge of forever. The temple hums one final note, and it is this. Sleep now. Sleep as long as the universe yawns. Sleep while everything that breathes folds into slumber. You are the breath. You are the yawn. You are the sleep. You are not walking now. You are floating. Not above the ground, but within it. Not flying, but folding. Folding into the hush. Folding into the softness. Folding into yourself. The temple no longer surrounds you. It is you. Its walls, now your breath. Its chambers, now your chest. Its warm air, now your dreams. You do not need to move. The story continues within you, without words. The birds of the grove sleep in your heartbeat. The statues of the hall rest in your bones. The lanterns of dusk drift gently in your lungs. Even Cleopatra, she rests now. She has joined you in this shared breath, not as queen, not as voice, but as warmth. She smiles in the space behind your closed eyes and hums a lullaby made only from silence. You are whole. You are held. You are finally, deeply beautifully asleep. There is no more temple, because there is no more seeking. You have arrived. You may rest here forever, and if ever you wake, know this: the temple waits. The wind will still whisper. The birds will still cradle. The light will still hold. Because you are the temple now. Sleep well, soul of softness. Sleep wide, sleep warm, sleep without need. You are the lullaby now. You are the light. You are the hush. You are the dream that never needs to be remembered because it never ends. And now, dear listener, as you drift into that final sleep, let me ask you a gentle question. What was the softest place you visited tonight? Was it the nest of feathers, the chamber of statues, the pool of dreams, or the room without mirrors? There is no wrong answer, only whispers. If you're still barely awake, I invite you to leave a quiet comment below. Just a single word, maybe. Something that made you smile before your eyes gave in. And if this journey carried you home tonight, subscribe to Seth's Sleep Sanctuary. More dreams await, more peace, more warmth, always gently, always slowly, always with you. Until we meet again in the next story. Good night, and may your breath always be wrapped in light.